Making a t-shirt quilt is a lot easier than you think. Today, I'm gonna walk you through how to prep your t-shirts, how to cut them out, how to figure out how to lay out your t-shirt quilt in a fun design, and give you tips and tricks on quilting it. Hi, my name's Jenna, and one of my controversial quilting opinions is I love making t-shirt quilts. So today I'm gonna walk you through that process. And t-shirt quilts make for the best gifts. So if you have someone graduating, about to graduate, a dad or a grandpa who has a bunch of band tees lying around, this is the perfect thing to make them. Our first step is to cut up our t-shirts, and I promise you this is a lot easier than you think. So I'm just going to lay out the t-shirt. I'm going to take my rotary cutter and I'm just going to cut around the design so that it is a lot bigger than the actual design, because we're going to cut it down to size later after we add some interfacing on the back. So I'll cut some off the bottom, I'll cut the sides, and then I'll come and take the top off. And I'm going to do this for all of my t-shirts. And for this one, the decal is a little bit smaller, so I can afford to cut off just a little bit more on the bottom. And if there's a decal on the back of the shirt, make sure to check that before you cut, because you don't want to cut through a decal on the back of the shirt if you can use two different ones. For example, this shirt has a little thing on the front and a big thing on the back, so I just want to make sure that I'm not going to cut the one on the front at all. And then because this is smaller, I can afford to cut this smaller. Your next step is to add some fusible interfacing onto the back of all of your t-shirts. I like to use a lightweight or a medium weight interfacing. This one is a lightweight interfacing, and you're gonna do this because all of our t-shirts are stretchy, and then when we sew them together, it's really hard to get things to line up. And when we go to quilt it, it is even harder to make our quilting look nice because the fabric will start folding on top of each other. It's not fun. So interfacing is going to be your best friend. Also, for a t-shirt quilt, you don't have to just use regular standard t-shirts. You can use sweatshirts, you can use sports gear, you can use really whatever you want as long as you put the interfacing on the back. So I have a process for this. What I'll do is I'll take my interfacing, I'll roll it on top of the decal so it is way bigger than the decal. Then I'll go ahead and cut it. I'll put this on top, and now I know that this interfacing is for this decal, and then I'll do this for all of my t-shirts. If there's little guys like this, I'll cut it here and then cut it down the middle. When you're looking for interfacing, you want to make sure to get at least like a 17 or 18 inch wide interfacing, because if you get smaller, it's really hard to cut your pieces exact, and you're just going to need a wider interfacing. The wider, the better. Now we can go ahead and press all of our interfacing to our t-shirts. And on interfacing, you want to make sure that the rough side with all the little glue dots is facing down, just so that they adhere to your t-shirt. And when you go to adhere your interfacing, look at your interfacing's instructions, do what it says. Just remember that anytime you press to the front of a t-shirt, these decals are going to melt and are going to dirty up your iron and are going to spread everywhere if I touch it directly with my iron. So that is why I like to use the back of my shirts, and I will press on top of the interfacing. Some interfacing companies say not to press on top of the interfacing. I found that it works fine most ways, but I'm just gonna hold my iron on top of the interfacing for 10 to 15 seconds in each area, and that will get everything nice and pressed and ready to go. When you put the interfacing on top of the t-shirt, remember to have the interfacing centered on top of the decal so that when we go to trim this down to the final size later, everything that you are going to cut has the interfacing on it. And pressing these is going to take a while, so we're going to come back a little bit later when I'm all done. This is when I wish I had a t-shirt press, because pressing these would go so much faster with a t-shirt press. We're back. I got my t-shirts prepped, and now we're gonna cut these down, and I think this is where people get the most intimidated by t-shirt quilts. This is where math comes to play. I love math, and I've made so many t-shirt quilts and have figured out what size I need to cut everything. I found for most t-shirt quilts, I can either cut everything in multiples of 5 or multiples of 6, not both, but one or the other. So for example, cutting blocks 5.5 inches, 10.5 inches, or 15.5 inches, and with multiples of 6, cutting them 6.5 inches, 12.5 inches and 18.5 inches, so that whenever I go to piece my quilt together in the end, all of my measurements are going to fit and all of my blocks will be pieced together well without having to cut off any extra or guess if I've done my math right. To decide if you're going to choose multiples of 5 or multiples of 6, I would measure, okay, the width of my decal, I could do 12, but I have a lot extra right here, and I don't have enough on the sides where I'd be cutting off some of my decal. But if I did 10.5, that would fit great that way. And this way, if I did 15.5, the decal fits perfectly inside that. And so for this guy, I know increments of 5 is going to work best for this quilt. So just measure out what you think. I will have to say, when increments of 6 happen, that is my favorite because I can use the exact size ruler. So this is a 12.5 inch true cut square ruler. And then I have a 6.5 inch true cut square ruler, a 6.5 by 24.5 inch, and a 6.5 by 12.5 inch. And I know that anytime I cut my decals using these rulers, I just have to cut to the exact size of the ruler. This one I measure out my 16 by 8.5, and I gotta measure out my 8.5. But for the most part, these make my life easier. To cut this guy, I'm going to measure out my 15.5 inch block. So this is 6.5, 7.5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 15.5. And I find that I can have about an inch on either side. I'll make a cut here. I'll flip this around over here, and I'll do my 15.5 on this side. And then I can come here and I'll measure my 10.5. And I like to make sure that the decals are in the center. So I notice from here to here, there's about 2 inches. From here to the 10.5 inch mark, that is about 2 inches. So we should be good to go. We got our first piece cut. Now let's make sure that we've got this decal in our multiples of 5. So this length is 15.5, which 15, 5, 10, 15, multiple of 5. And then this guy's 10.5, which is a multiple of 5. Then we are good to go. No matter how I cut it, as long as it's a multiple of 5, it will fit later on in my quilt. This guy is a big guy, and I have a feeling it's gonna need to be 15.5 by 15.5. And I like having so many rulers around because I can put them all next to each other, and then they will be the exact length that I need. And then I can cut up. And then when you're cutting the decals, make sure that if you want the whole graphic to be seen, you need to make sure the graphic is at least 1/4 of an inch in from either side. So this little piece of this graphic will be cut off, and that is okay. Also, all of your little scraps, do not throw away any of your t-shirts, quilt scraps, because we will need them for later, and I'll show you why. I've got all my pieces cut out, and I like to organize them by size, and that just makes our next step of laying out our quilt a whole lot easier. But before we lay out our quilt, I want to show you what you can do if you go to cut your block with either multiples of 5 or 6 and you don't have enough fabric. For example, this piece right here, I did not have enough right here, which is okay. What I am going to do is I am just going to take a ruler and I'm just going to trim down a straight line, and I am going to take one of my fancy scraps, and I want to make sure that there's interfacing on this part of the scrap. I'm going to put this right sides together, and I'm going to sew, using my 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, these two pieces together. And then I can just go ahead and square off this edge. You can barely see that seam line, and we've got a perfect squared off block for us to use. Another time I like to do this is when my multiples of either 5 or 6 do not fit everything that I need. For example, this Glory Sound prep does not fit within the 15-inch mark, so I needed to make this 20 inches long. So I just added a little strip to both sides, and now my piece is 20 inches long and will fit perfectly into my quilt. Now we gotta lay out this quilt, but I gotta push this out of the way because we're gonna use the floor because we need a lot of room. I'm back and I'm on the floor. So I have all of my t-shirts prepped, cut, interfacing on the back, and I've organized them by size. We're gonna start laying these out, and I think that seeing it first is gonna make a little bit more sense than me explaining how to lay them out and then work together. So I'm just gonna start laying these out and see where something would work. And my goal is to separate out my darks and lights so that those are spread out evenly amongst my quilt. Now here is where you can see how our multiples of 5 help us. So these two pieces, because they're the same length, I can put them right next to each other. But when I sew them together, what can I put down here? Well, because everything is a multiple of 5, I just have to find the right pieces that fit. So I decided to put two 5.5-inch squares right here. Then I have a 15.5-inch rectangle to go right here. I could switch it up too by putting this guy on this side and then grabbing one of my 10.5-inch guys right here, and that would fit perfectly. So your job is just to play around with the layout, and it's kind of like a giant game of Tetris. All these pieces will fit into each other to make a rectangle or square quilt. You just have to figure out their order. I've got most of this laid out the way I want to, except now I've run into a little bit of a problem, which is a common problem when putting together a t-shirt quilt. For this, I have 3 different t-shirts pieces that I wanted to add to this quilt, but they don't necessarily fit in with how I've designed it. So I have a couple of choices. I could redo the design to where these fit, and then if there are a couple of extra smaller pieces, this is why we saved all of our t-shirt scraps. I can cut out the size of pieces I need from my t-shirt scraps and just place them to fill up that extra space. Or you can make some choices. All I'm missing though for this quilt is one 5.5-inch square right here. And so part of me thinks, do I need this full t-shirt? I'm just gonna cut part of the heart out as part of the 5-inch square and then place that guy right here. Then I'll take a good look to make sure all the colors are nice and dispersed. I like that. I'm gonna go cut this out. We'll bring it back. Now we can go to sew this together. And you may be looking at this and think, well, where do I start? I want you to find straight lines throughout the quilt. Find little square areas throughout the quilt. So for example, right here, we have a straight line that goes down, which means that all of these pieces can be sewn together. And I can sew them together in sections. So I'm gonna take all of this and sew this together in a giant row. And I can start by sewing these pieces together, by sewing this to this, these to these, and then sewing these to each other. Right here, I can see this is a little section, and I can sew it to this section. And I can make a little rectangle here. And right here, I can sew all these pieces together and then sew all of my little sections together to make giant rows. So you're gonna do that for this entire quilt. So in your t-shirt quilt, just look for the smaller little rectangles that you can piece together, and then slowly just keep piecing them until you have your whole quilt finished. I'm gonna put this guy on top of this guy, and throughout this whole quilt, we're using a 1/4-inch seam allowance. So I've got this piece sewn, and now I'm gonna sew these pieces onto each other. Now I'm taking this piece, folding it over this guy, and I can sew this together to create my giant square. When doing these longer sections, I love using pins. The shorter sections, I can just sew them without my pins, but these long sections, I love pins. And you throw as many in as your heart desires. Now we're gonna press our seams open, but on this little 1/4-inch seam, I still have some of my decal. If I went to press that with my iron, the ink would get stuck on my iron. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a random scrap of t-shirt that I have lying around, and I'm going to put that on top of my seam and then just press everything open with using that t-shirt as a barrier, so then that decal does not melt onto my iron and get it all dirty. My first section is done. I am going to repeat the same process until I create a bunch of little mini sections, and then I will piece them all together into my rows and then piece all my rows together until the whole quilt is finished. In the description, I have a free guide on how to make t-shirt quilts a lot easier with all the supplies that you're going to need and different layout options. So check that out in the description below. And while you're at it, make sure to like and subscribe for more fun quilting content. We are putting out free patterns and fun stuff all of the time. The top is finished, and I love the way it looks. This came together so quick, and now let's dive into little tips and tricks on how to quilt this baby. If you're gonna quilt your t-shirt quilt on your home sewing machine by pushing it around the throat of your machine, you're gonna wanna start by making a quilt sandwich, and we have a video on how to do that, so I'm gonna link that down below. Then you're gonna want to switch out the foot on your machine for a free motion quilting foot. My all-time favorite hopping foot is the glide foot. If you are making a t-shirt quilt or anything with thick seams, you need, and let me say that again, need a glide foot. And it's like a little spoon, And so it will just glide over those thick seams so much easier, and you'll get consistent, beautiful stitches every single time. You want to make sure to choose something that doesn't detract from the shirts, just because the shirts are the focal point, the designs on the shirts. For a lot of t-shirt quilts, I like to do an all over meander, and we have a video on how to meander on a quilt, and we can link that also down below. And when I do a meander on my home sewing machine, I want to make sure that I miss all of those thick seams, especially where 4 shirts come together. I do not want to go over that because it is going to be really hard to get that under my hopping foot. So I just like to do an all over meander in a way that avoids those seams. And I like to keep my meander pretty big. A meander is nice too, because then if you have rhinestones on your quilt, or if you have thicker areas just that are on top of the t-shirt that you cannot quilt over, you can easily quilt around them. If you plan on making a t-shirt quilt, let me know in the comments if you're planning on quilting it on your home sewing machine or with a long arm. I'm curious to know which people like to do better. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Hopefully this video, this tutorial, made you feel a little bit more confident in making a t-shirt quilt. A lot of quilters hate making them, but I truly love it because they're memories that are gonna last a lifetime. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more fun quilting content, and I'll see you next time.
There's so much more to learn from Grace Company, and you can check it out on our support channel, our Quilters Playground channel, and right here.